Live from Waterford and Dungarvan, this is Waterford at 1 News.
Good afternoon, I'm Reddy. Today's top stories. Plans for the redevelopment of Walsh Park will now get underway after government funding was confirmed today. Concerns have been raised that the board of Waterford Airport has failed to meet for over half a year. School secretaries held a rally in Waterford this morning as part of their strike action calling for pay fairness. And in sport, Waterford's Jack O'Donoghue is named in the Munster team ahead of Sunday's crucial Champions Cup tie in Paris. Funding has been granted for the redevelopment of Waterford's Walsh Park. Waterford Minister of State John Halligan's confirmed that the County Board is set to receive almost €3.8 million. The €7 million project will see the capacity of the ground increased to 16,000. Minister Halligan says it's fantastic news.
Yes, and I spoke to Pat Flynn, the County Board Secretary there a few minutes ago. The funding has been allocated, 3.8 million. Has been allocated, and that's been allocated, which will include the demolition of the existing dressing rooms, construction of new covered western stand terrace, and the construction of a new uncovered seating North Strand. So the GA are delighted. That's the amount that has been allocated, 3.8 million, which is substantial funding.
He says he met GA representatives on several occasions.
I in turn then met the department under Shane Ross and spoke to them. Last night, Shane Ross contacted me to say that that's what's been allocated. The actual allocation is €3,753,750. As I say, I spoke to Representative GA this morning and they're delighted with it. So it's good news for Waterford.
Waterford County Board Chairman Sean Michael O'Regan says they're thrilled with the announcement and can now get on with the project.
We have project teams, we're ready to go. To be honest with you, there's been lots of work going on. First off, I suppose I just have to thank all our local representations and everybody that has been supporting us over the last couple of months. All our own GA clubs, county board officers, everybody has been working extremely hard on both divisional boards. We're going to obviously sit down now and move on with our own meetings with our own Croke Park people at national level and Munster Council, and we'll take it from there.
He says the development will be fully funded.
We will find the money, don't you worry about that. There's no problem here. Welsh Park will happen. This is a great start. I'd like to thank Paddy Joe for his efforts in this as well. We know where we want to be, and this is just step one of many steps. So we'll move on and we'll start the development of Welsh Park as soon as we possibly can.
Sean Michael O'Regan says Munster Championship games will go ahead in Walsh Park as planned this year.
Just obviously tweak the dates, look at the schedules. There's lots of work has to be done between now and then. There's lots of work to be done. But from regards to this year's Munster Championship matches in Welsh Park, there'll be no activity before that, physical activity.
Concerns have been raised that the board of Waterford Airport has failed to meet for over half a year. The government approved €5 million in funding for the extension of the airport's runway last year, with the remainder coming from private investors. However, councillors have flagged that discussions with the investors and stakeholders have not been completed. Sinn Féin's Jim Griffin became a board member last June.
Myself and Jody Power, Councillor Power, we've been on the board. We were elected on the board, and it's 8 months now since the May elections, and we haven't had one meeting with the board.
Former board member Councillor John Cummins asked Waterford Council CEO Michael Walsh about negotiations with the airport's private investors.
It would be hoped that you would have works on the ground in June, but are the issues in relation to the investors and the various different future relationships and shareholdings for the airport, are they at an advanced stage or resolved at this point? Can you elaborate on that, please?
There are still remaining issues to be sorted out there, including obviously EGM and all that goes with that. But there are still issues that are being worked on, let's put it like that. They have to be resolved in the next 5 to 6 weeks, I would think.
Michael Walsh confirmed that the planning application for the runway extension will be submitted next week.
CPO for the airport was advertised prior to Christmas and has gone to Board Planola. The planning will be lodged next week. So that's progressing in terms of the broader land purchase and the planning on that. The objective there is very clearly to be on the ground working in the middle of this year in good weather in June perhaps of this year. The objective would be to use the summer period for the core good weather for the construction there, but it's vitally important.
The CEO of Waterford Distillery, who've invested millions of euro into the production of Waterford whisky at the former Guinness Brewery in Mary Street, says it's important that there is a functioning airport. Mark Rainier is one of the private investors who've shown a willingness to commit to support for the airport.
You have to go to Dublin, you have to go to Cork. There's more flights in Dublin than there are in Cork. We're bringing people here. We're bringing journalists from around the world here to explain what we're doing. And it's a bit embarrassing, really. We had a board meeting. It took us 3 hours to get here. Waterford should have an airport. It's there. And, if that can be made more functional, it has to be good for everybody, surely.
School secretaries held a rally in Waterford this morning. It's part of strike action calling for pay fairness. The dispute centres around the two-tier pay system that sees most school secretaries earning just $12,500 a year with irregular short-term contracts that force them to sign on during the summer holidays and other school breaks. Eileen O'Sullivan, who works in Calais Boys National School, told Damien Tiernan on Data Today that they were offered a pay rise of 1.5%.
It was an insult. Just wouldn't listen to that offer at all. They're not listening to what we're saying, what we're asking for. We want to go on a pay scale and we want to have pension rights, we want to have holiday pay. Those all have been asked for and they're just ignored and have been ignored up to now.
President of the Teachers Union of Ireland, Seamus Lahart, says school secretaries are a central part of school life.
They're very supportive to teachers, they're supportive to students and they're supportive to school management, and we believe as a trade union that we, since we share the workplace with them, they need to be treated properly, they need to have proper terms and conditions of employment. They should not depend on social welfare, they should not depend on a salary as low as €12,000. They are vital to the school community and we would like to see them treated properly.
The Taoiseach says the Dáil will reconvene as planned next week. Yesterday he was unable to give an absolute guarantee that TDs would return to sit next Wednesday. Speculation on the election date continues following a private meeting between Leo Varadkar and Micheál Martin last night. Leo Varadkar was asked if he would favour an election on February 14th, St Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it could be the love of the people and hopefully a Valentine's Day massacre for our opponents. But no, what I've consistently said is that, when the time is right for an election, it should be at the right time for the country, not necessarily the right time for any political party or any particular politician.
WLR Sport.
And a very good afternoon, I'm Gavin Whelan. Starting with rugby, and JJ Hanrahan will be fit for Munster's European Champions Cup match against Racing 92 in Paris on Sunday. The Outaf has been named in the team with no place for Ben Healy in the squad. Niall Scannell will make his 100th appearance for the province. Conor Murray, Peter O'Mahony, Keith Earls and CJ Stander will all start. Waterford's Jack O'Donoghue is included in the back row for the Red Army. It's a must-win game against Racing on Sunday. Gaelic Games, a new double manager Dessie Farrell has confirmed Footballer of the Year Stephen Cluxton is staying on for 2020. Farrell says the 38-year-old goalkeeper's leadership qualities will be vitally important.
Stephen is staying on, I'm delighted to say. He's been a fantastic servant to Dublin football, and a player of his talent and experience is badly needed, particularly with a new management team coming in. So we're delighted that Stephen is going to be involved with the group next year.
The overall winner of the 2019 WLR Granville Hotel GA Award will be revealed at a gala dinner tomorrow night. Special guest is the CEO of the Federation of Irish Sport and 12 times Dual All-Ireland winner Mary O'Connor. Today we're looking back at the final two monthly winners ahead of the big event. Another first-time winner is Owen Kearns, who was awarded the final monthly award in December. He delivered a man of the match performance as St Mary's bridged a 30-year gap to win the county junior hurling title, hitting 8 points in their win over Ballydurn.
Oh, for a fact, yeah. At the start of the year, we set out to win the county final, and the day we won it was a great day, and to live long in the memory. And look, the group of players, they're just fantastic, and Dan Shannon and Declan Fitz, the effort they've put in this year has just been amazing, and it's just that it'll live long in the memory.
Further build up to tomorrow's awards ceremony on Lorna Porca with Tomos this evening and on our On The Ball show tomorrow. Meanwhile, Allers Hotel in Dungarvan is set to host a massive crowd this evening as the Waterford GA Awards take centre stage, sponsored by the local bar. Hall of Fame Jim Wall of the Nar will be inducted into that. The Jack Furlong Award will go to Hannah Power of Kill. Seamus O'Brien Award goes to Eddie Cunningham of Tallow for his distinguished service to the association. June Fardy of Passage picks up the Special Recognition to Culture Award. Special Achievement to Refereeing goes to Jim Joe Landers of Cappoquin. Billy Tobin of the Shamrocks gets a Special Achievement Award. Schools Award goes to Dungarvan CBS, and there's a Special Merit Award for the GA World Games Committee. The 8 surviving members of the 1959 All-Ireland Waterford winning team will be special guests at tonight's banquet. We'll have further build up to that throughout the afternoon and on our Lorna Porca GA show this evening. To news of racing then finally, where there's action at Thurles this afternoon. The first goes to post at 12:40. The all-weather track at Dundalk hosts an 8-race card. The first there is off at 5. And in soccer, one game cross-channel this evening in the Premier League. David Moyes' West Ham United face Sheffield United. Darren Raldoff's return to West Ham has been delayed as he can't pass a medical. The Middlesbrough keeper's £4 million move is being held up by a thigh injury. He's been keen to bolster his squad ahead of Roberto's after backup to Roberto's disastrous spell, deputising Lucas Fabianski earlier this season. Kick-off there is at 8 o'clock. And Republic of Ireland under-21 striker Aidan Keena has joined Hartlepool from Hearts. The Westmeath youngster was allowed to leave on a free transfer after 2 years at the Scottish Premiership side. Keena will link up with his former coach John Daly at his new club. That's the latest on WLR.